Okay, in this video, we are going to write an equation of a quadratic function using 3 points, and we will solve this problem. But before we solve that problem, we have to see the procedure. So this is the recommended procedure that I created, and there's 5 steps. The first step says write the standard form of a quadratic equation, which is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. The second step says replace x and y value for each equation, and we'll have 3 equations. Third step says simplify the 3 equations. The fourth step involves using multiple substitution and elimination to get a, b, and c. And the fifth step says once you figure out a, b, and c, just put it back into our standard form equation right here. Okay, so now we're going to solve this problem. And it's important to note that all 3 of these points came from a quadratic equation. That's why this works. It's not just random 3 points. These 3 points came from a quadratic equation. So let's get started. Our first step says write the standard form of the quadratic equation, which is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Our second step says replace x and y for each equation. So we have 3 of them. So for example, this y is going to be a -3 is equal to a. We don't know what a is, but x is 0. So parentheses 0 squared plus b parentheses 0 plus c. That's our first equation. We're going to do the exact same thing for the 2 others. So here we have a -4, so you can say -4 is equal to a parentheses 1 squared plus b parentheses 1 plus c. And we have one more, this one right here. So the y value is 0 is equal to a parentheses -1 squared plus b parentheses -1 plus c. So that's step 2. We replace x and y for each equation, and we have 3 equations. And step 3 says simplify the 3 equations. And what that means is instead of saying 0 squared, 0 squared is 0 times 0, and 0 times any number is 0. So 0 times a is going to give us a 0. 0 times b is going to give us a 0. So for this equation, when we simplify it, we get -3 is equal to c, because this piece is 0 and this piece is 0. And that's one of our pieces that we need. So we know what c is. And we're going to do the next 2. So we have -4 is equal to. So 1 squared is 1 times 1. So we just have a. I'm going to make it a capital letter. Maybe it's easier to see. And then b times 1. So you get, just a regular b plus c. Next one, same procedure. 0 is equal to -1 squared. So -1 times -1 is +1. So we just get an a. B times -1 is -b plus c. Now the fourth step says perform multiple substitutions and or elimination to solve for a, b, and c. Now this problem isn't as difficult as other problems because for one of our points we had 0, -3, and that made getting c very easy. If this was any other point where the x value wasn't 0, this would be more involved. But the same procedure though, like step 4 says perform multiple substitutions and or eliminations. That step would be harder, but in this problem, it's easier because we already got c, and c is -3. And so now we just need to substitute it in for the other 2 equations. So we can say -4 is equal to a plus b minus 3. And this one, 0 is equal to a minus b minus 3. Okay, we can clean this up a little bit. This is a -3. If you want to get rid of the -3, we could add 3 here, add 3 here. You want to get rid of this -3, add 3 here, add 3 there. So we're kind of just simplifying it a little bit. So -4 plus 3 would give us -1 is equal to a plus b. Adding 3 here, adding 3 there. So we get 3 is equal to a minus b. At this point, we can easily use the elimination method. And with the elimination method, we're just going to combine these 2 pieces, combine these 2 pieces, combine these 2 pieces. And this one works without any modifications because this is a positive b and this is a negative b. And so, if you're still kind of confused with substitution and elimination, I have a nice playlist, and I'll put this in the description box. So if you're stuck on like elimination and substitution for more difficult problems, it's going to be in the description box. So -1 plus 3 would give us a +2. A plus A is 2A. And B minus B, it got eliminated, so 0B. Now we want to get rid of the 2 in front of the A, so we could divide by 2 on both sides, divide by 2 on both sides. So A is equal to 1. We can box in this answer. And now we need to get B. And to get B, there's a lot of options. You could plug it back into any of our original equation. You could plug it back in here. You could plug it back in here because we know A now. We just don't know B. So I'm going to choose this first one right here. So I got -1 is equal to A. A is now 1 because we said A is equal to 1 plus B. We want to get rid of this +1, so you could subtract 1 on both sides. So B is equal to -2. So now we know A, B, and C. So the fifth step says replace A, B, and C back into our standard form. So our standard form was y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. C is -3. A we said is 1. B is -2. So just got to replace it and then we will be done. So y is equal to A is 1. So we can say 1x squared or just x squared plus bx plus c. And B is -2. So -2x plus c. C was -3. So -3. And this right here is our final answer. And if you're curious to know how can we confirm this is actually going to be the correct answer, that's also pretty easy. Yeah, so these were our 3 points we had in our problem. If you want to make sure that you didn't make any mistake, we can always plug it back in. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So here we said x is 0, y is -3. If x is 0, 0, 0, -3. Y is -3. That's right. Let's try 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 minus 2 would give us -1. And -1 minus 3 is -4. That's right. Okay, now we try our last one, -1 comma 0. So -1 squared gives us a +1. -2 times -1 is +2. So 1 plus 2, so it's 3. 3 minus 3 is 0, so it matched. So that's a quick way to check. And that's pretty much it to write an equation of a quadratic function given 3 points.